Honey, you're so tantalizing, I feel like vocalizing a pretty love song to you. Lots of things I could sing for you to show how I adore you, but there's just one I want to do. I could sing a song about the moonlight and roses wet with dew, but I don't want to sing about the moonlight, honey, I want to sing about you. I could sing a song about the June night like the others do, but I don't want to sing about the June night, honey, I want to sing about you. 'Cause you've got lips, oh what lips, just the kind of lips I prize. And you've got oh, I see it in your eyes. So take away the roses and the moonlight and the June light too, 'cause I don't want to sing about the moonlight, honey, I want to sing about you. nice ways you have. Oh, what nice days we'd have. Oh, if I only had you. And oh, what wonderful dreams I dream. Oh, how sweet they seem. You could make them come true. Please do. What big eyes you have. What a prize I'd have. Oh, if I only had you.
Welcome to today's all-school virtual WebAssembly. For our class's presentation, we will be presenting a story that I wrote about my father. I miss my father. Daddy lives far, far away, in another state. You have to run in a plane, sometimes more than one plane to get there. And I haven't seen my father in a long, long time. I hope you're watching, Daddy. Anyway, I call this story My Father's Dragon. One cold, rainy day, when my father was a little boy, he met an old alley cat on his street. The cat was very drippy and uncomfortable, so my father said, "Would you like to come home with me?"
Would you like to come home with me?
This surprised the cat. She had never before met anyone who cared about old alley cats, but she said, "I'd be very much obliged if I could sit by a warm furnace."
I'd be very much obliged if I could sit by a warm furnace and perhaps have a saucer of milk. We have a nice furnace to sit by. Oh, and I'm sure my mother has an extra saucer of milk.
My father and the cat became very good friends, but Elmer's mother said, "I am very upset about that cat."
I am very upset about that cat. I hate cats. I hate cats, particularly ugly old alley cats. Elmer Elevator, if you think I'm going to give that cat a saucer of milk, you are very wrong. Once you start feeding stray alley cats, you might as well expect to feed every stray cat in town. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
This made my father very sad.
So sorry my mother was so rude. I'm used to it. That's just what happens when you're old. Nobody wants you. Nobody cares for you. Nobody cares anymore. Dogs chase you up trees. People douse you with water. I cannot sing my songs at night without people telling me to shut up that racket. Well, goodbye. But don't worry about me. Poor me, all by myself. But please don't worry. I'll manage. Somehow. I don't know how, but I'll manage. Somehow. Don't go. I'll hide you in my cellar and I'll bring you a saucer of milk each day.
My father fed the cat for 3 weeks, but one day his mother found the saucer in the cellar and she said, "I am extremely angry."
I am extremely angry.
She punished my father.
Ow!
And threw the cat out the door.
No!
But later, my father sneaked out and found the cat. Together they took a walk and tried to think of nice things to talk about.
When I grow up, I'm going to have an airplane. Wouldn't it be nice to just fly anywhere you might think of? Would you like to fly very, very much? I certainly would. I would give anything to fly. Well, if you really like to fly that much, I think I might know a sort of way we can get you to fly while you are still a little boy. You mean you know where I can get an airplane? Well, not exactly an airplane, but something even better. As you can see, I'm an old alley cat now, but in my younger days, I was quite a traveler. My traveling days are over, but last spring, I took one more trip and sailed to the island of Tangerina, stopping at the port of Cranberry. Well, it just so happens that I missed a boat, and while waiting for the next one, I thought I'd look around a bit. I was particularly interested in a place called Wild Island. Wild Island and Tangerina are joined together by a long string of rocks. But people never go to Wild Island because it's mostly jungle and inhabited by very wild animals. So I decided to go across the rocks and explore it for myself. It certainly is an interesting place, but I saw something there that made me want to weep. Wild Island is practically cut in two by a very wide and muddy river. This river begins near one end of the island and flows into the ocean on the other. Now, the animals there are very lazy, and they used to hate having to go all the way around the beginning of this river to get to the other side of the island. It made visiting inconvenient and mail delivery slow, particularly during the Christmas rush. Crocodiles used to carry passengers, but crocodiles are very moody and not the least bit dependable and are always looking for something to eat. They didn't care that the animals had to go all the way around. So that's just what they did for many years.
But what does all this have to do with getting an airplane? Pardon me, but you're taking an awfully long time to explain.
Be patient, Elmer. One day, about 4 months before I arrived on Wild Island, a baby dragon fell from a low-flying cloud onto the bank of the river.
A baby dragon?
A baby dragon. He was too young to fly very well, and besides, he had bruised one wing quite badly, so he couldn't get back to his cloud.
No.
The animals found him soon afterward, and everybody said,
Yippee! Wow! Yeah, woo! Why, this is exactly what we needed after all these years.
They tied a big rope around his neck and waited for the wing to get well. This baby dragon was going to end all of their crossing the river troubles.
I've never seen a dragon. Did you see him? How big is he?
Oh, yes, indeed, I saw the dragon. In fact, we were great friends. I used to hide in the bushes and talk to him when nobody was around. He's not a very big dragon, about the size of a large black bear. Although I imagine he's grown quite a bit since I last seen him. He has a long tail and yellow and blue stripes, and his horn and his eyes and the bottom of his feet are bright red, and he has gold-colored wings.
Oh, how wonderful! What did the animals do with him when his wing got better?
Well, they started training him to carry passengers, and even though he's just a baby dragon, they work him all day and night. They make him carry loads that are much too heavy, and if he complains, they twist his wings and beat him.
Oh, how awful.
He's always tied to a rope on a stake that's just long enough to go across the river. His only friends are the crocodiles, who say hello to him once a week, if they don't forget. Really, he's the most miserable animal I've ever come across.
That's horrible.
When I left, I promised I'd help him someday, although I couldn't see how. When you were talking about airplanes, you gave me an idea. Now, I'm quite sure if you were to rescue that dragon, which wouldn't be the slightest bit easy, he'd let you ride him most anywhere, provided you were nice to him, of course. How about trying it?
Oh, I would love to.
My father was so angry at his mother for being rude to the cat, he didn't feel the least bit sad about running away from home for a while. That very afternoon, my father and the cat went down to the docks to see about ships going to the island of Tangerina. They found out that a ship would be sailing the next week, so right away they started planning for the rescue of the dragon. The cat was a great help in suggesting things for my father to take with him, and the cat told him everything it knew about Wild Island. Of course, the cat was too old to go along. Everything had to be kept very secret, so when they found or bought anything to take on the trip, they hid it behind a rock in the park. The night before my father sailed, he borrowed his father's knapsack, and he and the cat packed everything very carefully.
Do you have everything?
Well, let's see. Chewing gum.
Chewing gum?
2 pink lollipops.
Pink?
Package rubber bands. My black rubber boots. My compass. Some toothpaste. Hey, give me that.
Toothpaste, yeah.
These magnifying glasses. Wait. Hey, give me that. Sharp jackknife. Comb. A hairbrush. Meow. Did you stop that?
Meow!
Hey, stop that! 7 hair ribbons. And the empty grain bag.
Cranberry!
Clean clothes. Food.
Food. I like food.
6 apples. That's all I could find in the pantry.
Apples? Ugh.
Oh yeah, and 25 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Yuck! Don't you have any good stuff? That is good stuff.
Good stuff. Mice are good stuff.
I have to get this packed.
Too bad you can't live on mice.
Shh. Here's the night watchman.
Mice are good for you.
Shh.
I'll distract him. Goodbye.
Bye.
I've been dreaming of a true lost king.
What? What was that?
My father had on the ship for 6 days and nights. Twice he was nearly caught when the ship stopped to take on more cargo, but at last he heard a sailor say,
"The next port is Cranberry! We'll be unloading this wheat there."
Oh, they're going to catch me. What do I do? What do I do? Oh, I have an idea.
My father knew that the sailors would be sending him home if they caught him, so he looked in his knapsack and took out the rubber band in the empty knapsack labeled Cranberry. He got inside the bag and all, folded the top of the bag inside, and put the rubber band around the top.
What in the world is that? I've never seen anything quite like it before. It's standing up all by itself! Whoa! It's all lumpy-like, but the label says it's to go to Cranberry. Whoa! What should we do? The captain will never believe this. Hey, wasn't the bag over there?
Oh!
Great Scott!
Oh! Ow! Oh!
Oh!
As the sailors ran for the captain, my father managed to sneak off the boat and walked along the shore to a nice sandy place to lie down to sleep. My father was very hungry when he woke up the next morning. Just as he was looking to see if he had anything to eat, something hit him on the head.
Ow! Hey!
And then he remembered,
Oh! Now I remember.
this is the island of Tangerina.
This is the island of Tangerina. Tangerine trees grow wild everywhere.
Elmer picked as many as he had room for, which was
9, 30, 31. Oh, no more room. Now off to Wild Island.
He walked and walked along the shore all day. Then he met a fisherman.
Oh, hey, excuse me. Do you know where the rocks are that connect this island with Wild Island? Excuse me. Do you know where the rocks are that connect this island with Wild Island?
Many people have tried to explore wild that place, but not one has come back alive. We think they were eaten by the wild animals.
This did not bother my father. He kept walking and slept on the beach again that night. It was beautifully clear the next day, and way down the shore he could see a long line of rocks leading out into the ocean, and way out at the end he could see a tiny patch of green. He quickly ate 7 tangerines and started down the beach. It was almost dark when he came to the rocks, but there, way out in the ocean was the patch of green.
The patch of green!
He then remembered what the cat said. If you can, go
out to the island at night.
You can hide by the rocks and the animals won't find you there. Pack 7 more tangerines and put them in my pack. I'll wait till dark.
It It was a very black night, and my father could hardly see the rocks ahead of him. Sometimes they were quite high, and sometimes the waves almost covered them, and they were slippery and hard to walk on. Sometimes the rocks were far apart, and my father had to get a running start and leap from one to the next.
What was that rumbling noise? Wow, a whale! I didn't realize it was him.
For 7 hours, my father climbed and slipped and leapt from rock to rock. But when it was still dark, he finally reached the very last rock and stepped off onto Wild Island. Once beyond the beach, my father stepped into a thick, dark, damp, and scary jungle. My father hardly knew where to go, so he crawled under a wahoo bush to think and ate 8 tangerines.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's delicious. Oh, so you're a wahoo bush. Wow. You hear that? Wahoo? Wow. Well, I'll be. Dandelions? Daffodils. Whippoorwill. Wahoo? Oh, give me a path, an open path, and give me a great big view, and let me wahoo, wahoo, wahoo! Oh, give me some boots and tangerine fruits, and give me a knapsack too.
And let me wahoo, wahoo, wahoo!
Give me those wide open spaces. Oh, I'm just like a jungle flower. I'm growing wilder every hour.
Oh, give me a moon, a jungle moon, and give me a great big view.
And let me wahoo, wahoo, wahoo.
I never could sing a high-class thing.
Good music he never knew, but I can wahoo, wahoo, wahoo.
Oh, I never could dance because when I dance,
My legs are like bamboo, but I can
wahoo, wahoo, wahoo.
It's just a gift from the jungle. You shouted when adventure starts.
It's very good for anxious hearts.
Take it away, shrubs.
But I can wahoo, wahoo.
I never could speak a word of Greek. I can never boop boop doo, but I can wahoo, wahoo, wahoo.
Oh, let me explain. No pain, no gain. Folks should take their cue in dulcing wahoo, wahoo, wahoo. Oh, that's all right, but better yet, we'll all try something new, and then we'll wahoo, wahoo.
Give me those wide open spaces.
Each time I see my wandering star, I want to travel out so far.
Let me wahoo, wahoo, wahoo,
Wahoo, wahoo,
Wow, these are certainly weird bushes. Oh, I have to find the river because the dragon is somewhere along its bank. If the river runs into the ocean,
I'm gonna be able to find it quickly if I walk on the beach far enough.
So my father walked until the sun rose. He was quite far from the ocean rocks. It was dangerous to stay near them because they might be guarded in the daytime. He found a clump of tall grass and sat down. Then he ate 3 more tangerines.
How can they want 12 of these? Oh, no, I didn't see any tangerines on this island. I can't run the risk of running out of something to eat.
My father slept all day and only woke up late in the afternoon when he heard a funny little voice saying, "Queer, queer, what a dear little duck."
Queer, queer, what a dear little duck.
He meant to say,
Dear, dear, what a queer little rock. I must melt him, Duddy.
he meant to say.
I must tell somebody.
My father was afraid that the mouse would really tell somebody, so he started down the beach. It was still very dark and was difficult for him to see when suddenly he heard someone say, "Is that you, monkey?"
Is that you, monkey? Is that you, monkey?
Yes?
What do you have on your back, monkey? What do you have on your back, monkey? I bet you are taking your sick grandmother to the doctor's.
My father said,
Yes.
and hurried on. Quite by accident, he found out later that he had been talking to a pair of tortoises. Then, my father almost accidentally walked right between 2 wild boars who were talking. Just in time, he heard one say, "There are 3 signs of a recent invasion."
There are 3 signs of a recent invasion. First, fresh tangerine peels were found under the wahoo bush by the ocean rocks. Second, a mouse reported an extraordinary rock some distance from the ocean rocks, which, upon further investigation, simply wasn't there. However, more tangerine peels were found in the same spot, which is a 3rd sign of an invasion. Since tangerines do not grow on our island, somebody must have brought them across the ocean rocks from the other island, which may, or may not, have something to do with the appearance and or disappearance of the extraordinary rock reported by the mouse.
You know, I think you're taking this all too seriously. Those peels probably floated over here all by themselves. And you know how unreliable mice are. Besides, if there had been an invasion, I would have seen it.
Perhaps you're right. Shall we retire?
We shall.
Well, that taught my father a lesson, and after that he saved all his tangerine peels. He walked all night, and toward morning he came to the river. That is where his troubles really began. The river was very wide and muddy, and the jungle was very gloomy and dense. Trees grew close to each other, and what room there was between them was taken up by great high ferns with sticky leaves. Ouch! My father decided to leave the beach and start to hike along the riverbank, where at least the jungle wasn't quite so thick. He ate 3 tangerines, making sure to keep all the peels this time, and put on his rubber boots.
Oh. That's 1. That's 2.
My father tried to follow the riverbank, but it was very swampy, and as he went farther, the swamp became deeper. When it was almost as deep as his boot tops, he got stuck in the oozy, mucky mud. My father tugged and tugged, and nearly pulled his boots right off. My father tugged, and tugged, and tugged.
Oh,
The jungle was so thick, my father could hardly see where the river was. My father didn't know that the river made a very sharp curve away from him, just a little ways beyond. And so as he walked straight ahead, he was getting farther and farther away from the river. It was a very hard walk in the jungle. He kept tripping over roots and rotten logs.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Ow!
Ow!
Ow!
oh, what?
Sometimes the trees were clumped so closely together that he couldn't squeeze between them and had to walk a long way around.
Double bubble.
Fruit stripes.
Fruit stripes.
Fruit stripes!
Hubba bubba.
He began to hear whispery noises, but he couldn't see any animals anywhere.
Hubba bubba!
Double bubble.
Bazooka.
Fruit stripes!
Fruit stripes.
Fruit stripes!
Juicy fruit.
Yeah.
He was certain something was following him, and then he heard whispery noises on both sides of him as well as behind.
Whispering noises. Whispering noises.
Bubblicious!
Juicy.
Juicy.
Fruit!
Fruit.
Fruit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tried to run, but he tripped over more roots, and the noises only came nearer.
Juicy.
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 Juicy!
Bubble.
Yum!
Yum.
Yum!
Yum. Yeah.
At last, he came out into a clearing and ran into the middle of it to see anything that might try to attack him. He was surprised when he looked and saw 14 eyes coming out of the jungle all around the clearing.
Boo.
And then the eyes turned into 7 tigers. The tigers walked around him in a big circle, looking hungrier all the time. And then they sat down and began to talk.
I suppose you thought we didn't know you were trespassing in our jungle.
I suppose you're going to say you didn't know it was our jungle.
Did you know that not one explorer has ever left this island alive?
My father thought of the cat and knew that this wasn't true, but of course he had too much sense to say so. One does not contradict a hungry tiger.
You're our first little boy, you know. I'm curious to know if you're especially tender.
Yummy.
Yummy.
Maybe you think we have regular meal times, but we don't. We just eat whenever we're feeling hungry.
Yeah.
Hungry.
Hungry. And we're very hungry right now. In fact, I can hardly wait.
I can't wait.
My father looked at those 7 hungry tigers, and then he had an idea. He quickly opened up his knapsack and took out the chewing gum. The cat had told him that tigers are especially fond of chewing gum, which is very scarce on the island, so he threw them each a piece.
As fond as we are of chewing gum, I'm sure we'd like you even better.
My father could feel them breathing on his face.
But this is very special chewing gum. If you chew it long enough, it'll turn green. And If you plant it in the ground, you grow more chewing gum. And the sooner you start chewing, the more chewing gum you'll have.
The tigers thought about this.
Why?
You don't
say.
say.
That fine.
Sounds about right to me.
And as each one wanted to be the first to plant their chewing gum, they all unwrapped their pieces and began chewing as hard as they could. Every once in a while, one tiger would look into another tiger's mouth and say, "Nope, it's not done yet."
Nope,
Nope,
it's not
it's
done yet.
not done yet.
Nope.
Nope.
Nah.
Nope.
No.
Nah.
Not done yet.
The tigers were also busy looking into each other's mouths to make sure that no one was getting ahead, but they forgot all about my father. My father soon found a trail leading away from the clearing. All sorts of animals might be using it too, but he decided to follow the trail no matter what he met because it might lead to the dragon. He kept a sharp lookout in front and behind and went on. Just as my father was feeling quite safe, he came around a curve right behind the two wild boars.
Did you know that the tortoises thought they saw a monkey carrying his sick grandmother to the doctor's last night? But Monkey's grandmother died a week ago, so they must have seen something else. I wonder what it was.
I told you there was an invasion afoot. I intend to find out what it is. I simply can't stand invasions.
Neither. I mean, neither.
Well, you search the trail up this way to the dragon. I'll go back down the other way through the big clearing, and we'll send Mouse here to watch the ocean rocks, in case the invasion should decide to go away before we find it.
My father hid behind a mahogany tree just in time. The first boar walked right past him. My father waited for the other boar to get a head start on him, but he didn't wait very long because he knew that once the first boar saw the tigers chewing gum in the clearing, he'd be even more suspicious. Soon the trail crossed a little brook. My father, who by this time was very thirsty, stopped to get a drink of water. He still had on his rubber boots, so he waded into a little pool of water. And while he was stooping down, something quite sharp picked him up by the seat of his pants and shook him very hard.
Don't you know this is my private weeping pool?
My father couldn't see who was talking because he had fallen right into the pool.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize everyone had a private weeping pool.
Everybody doesn't, but I do because I have such a big thing to weep about. And I'll drown everybody I find using my weeping pool.
The animal, who happened to be a rhinoceros, tossed my father up and down over the water.
What is that you? We've about you so much.
Oh, I have many things to weep about, the biggest being the color of my tongue.
My father squirmed every which way trying to see the tusk, but it was through the seat of his pants where he couldn't possibly see it.
When I was a young rhinoceros, my tusk was a pearly white, but turned a nasty yellow-gray in my old age. And I find it very ugly. You see, everything else about me is ugly, but when I had a beautiful tusk, I didn't worry so much about the rest. Now that my tusk is ugly too, I can't sleep nights just thinking about how completely ugly I am, and I weep all the time. telling you these things. I taught using my weeping pool, and now I'm going to drown you.
Wait, just a second, Rhinoceros. I have the things that'll make your tusk all nice and shiny. Just let me go, and I'll give them to you.
You do? I can hardly believe it! Why, I'm so excited!
The rhinoceros danced around in a circle while my father got out the tube of toothpaste and the toothbrush.
Hey, now just bring your little tusk a little near, please, and I'll show you how to get started.
My father wet the brush in the pool, squeezed on a dab of toothpaste, and scrubbed very hard in one tiny spot.
Here, wash it off. Now, look in the water and see just how white your spot is.
It was hard to see in the dim light of the jungle, but sure enough, the spot shone pearly white, just like new. The rhinoceros was so pleased that he grabbed the toothbrush and began scrubbing violently, forgetting all about my father. My father then heard hoof steps and jumped behind the rhinoceros. It was the boar coming back from the big clearing where the tigers are chewing gum. The boar studied the rhinoceros and said,
Tell me, Rhinoceros, just where did you get that fine tube of toothpaste and that toothbrush?
Too busy.
The rhinoceros went on brushing as hard as he could. As the boar trotted down the trail toward the dragon, my father could hear him saying,
Very suspicious. Tiger's too busy chewing gum. Rhinoceros too busy brushing his tusk. Humph! Must get a hold of that invasion. Humph! Don't like it, don't like one bit. Not one bit. It's upsetting everybody terribly. Snort! Wonder what it's doing here anyway. Snort! Humph!
My father waded back to the trail. He hadn't gone very far when he heard an angry animal roaring, Dang blast it!
Ding blast it! Ding, 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 blast it! I told you not to go blackberrying yesterday. Won't you ever learn? Ding! Ding! Blast! What will your mother say? Blast! It! Ding! 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 Roar!
My father crept along and peered into a small clearing just ahead. A lion was prancing about and clawing at his mane, which was all snarled and full of blackberry twigs.
The more he claws, the worse it gets. And the worse it gets, the madder he gets. And the madder he gets, the more he yells at himself.
Ding! Ding! Roar!
My father could see that the trail went through the clearing, so he decided to crawl around the edge in the underbrush and not disturb the lion.
Won't you ever, ever, ever learn?
My father crawled
Roar!
and crawled,
Roar!
and the yelling grew louder and louder.
Roar! Ding, ding, ding!
Just as my father was about to reach the trail on the other side, the yelling stopped. My father turned around and saw the lion a few inches away, glaring right at him.
Who are you?
I'm Elmer Elevator.
Where do you think you are going?
I'm going home.
That's what you think. Ordinarily, I'd save you for afternoon tea, but I happen to be upset enough and hungry enough to eat you right now.
The lion patted my father to feel how fat he was.
Stop.
Yeah, there's
Stop.
something to you.
Oh, please, lion, before you eat me.
This may take more than one bite.
Please, lion, tell me what's got you so particularly upset today.
It's my mane.
Your what?
My mane. You see what a dreadful mess it is? And I don't seem to be able to do anything about it. My mother's coming over on the dragon this afternoon, and if she sees me this way, I'm afraid she'll stop my allowance. She can't stand messy manes. But I'm going to eat you now, so it won't make any difference to you.
Wait just a second, Lion, and I'll give you the things that'll make your mane all nice and tight again. I have them here in my pack.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, give them to me and perhaps I'll save you for afternoon tea after all.
My father opened the pack and took out the comb and the 7 hair ribbons of different colors.
Here, I'll show you what to do on your, or you can watch me. So first, what you want to do is you want to brush for a little. And then you want to color for a while. And then you want to brush again until all the snarls and tricks are gone. See?
Whoa.
And then you just divide it in 3. And then you tie one of these hair ribbons to the end, like this.
As my father was doing this, the lion watched very carefully and began to look much happier. When my father tied on the ribbon, the lion was all smiles.
See?
Oh, that's wonderful, really wonderful. Let me have the comb and brush and see if I can do it.
So my father gave the lion the comb and the brush, and the lion began to busily groom his mane.
Really, really wonderful.
As a matter of fact, the lion was so busy that he didn't even know when my father left. My father was very hungry, so we sat down under the baby banyan tree on the side of the trail and ate 4 tangerines.
Banyan?
He wanted to eat 8 or 10, but he only had 13 left, and it might be a long time before he could get more. He packed away all the peels and was about to get up when he heard the familiar voices of the boars.
Not! I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. But wait and see for yourself. Humph! All the tigers are sitting around chewing gum to beat the band. Beat the band? Humph! Beat the band? Well! Humph! Old Rhinoceros is so busy brushing his tusk that he doesn't even stop to look around and see who's going by. Humph! And they're all so busy, they won't even talk to me. Snort! Snort!
Horse feathers! They'll talk to me. I'm going to get to the bottom of this if it's the last thing I do!
As the voices passed and went around the curve, my father hurried on. Before long, my father came to a crossroads and he stopped to read the signs. Straight ahead.
To the river.
To the river.
To the left.
The ocean rocks.
The ocean rocks.
And to the right.
To the Dragon Ferry.
To the Dragon Ferry.
My father then heard paw steps and ducked behind the signpost. A beautiful lioness paraded past and turned down toward the clearings. She could have seen my father if she bothered to glance at the post, but she was much too occupied looking dignified to see anything but the tip of her own nose. She sang to herself as she sashayed by.
Ooh, oh, the goose hangs high because my heart hangs low. 'Cause you've been giving me the runaround, baby.
Mommy!
Baby!
She was the lion's mother, of course. When my father saw her, he couldn't help but think of the old cat back home, and of course, his mother.
It has been a while since I've seen them. I wonder if they forgot about me.
The old cat had not forgotten about my father,
Meow.
and neither did my father's mother.
Oh, Elmer!
Who was, in fact, back home in Nevergreen City, missing him terribly. My father's mother missed him so much, she even adopted the old alley cat because she knew my father cared for him.
Meow.
I hate cats.
Meow.
Especially old alley cats.
Meow.
Oh, Elmer, why did you leave?
Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Where are you now?
Meow, 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 meow.
I hope you are safe.
Meow, 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 meow.
I hope you are happy.
Meow, 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 meow.
I wish I was there with you.
Nope.
First you bring me joy, and then you bring me sorrow.
You're just here today and gone tomorrow.
Why can't I have you for my own?
Why must I always be alone?
I want to go where you go, do what you do, laugh when you laugh, then I'll be happy. I want to sigh when you sigh,
If I could only,
cry when you cry,
you won't be lonely.
smile when you smile, then I'll be happy. If you go north or south,
I want to go.
if you go east or west,
You ought to know.
I'd follow you, sweetheart,
Daddy, and share your great adventures.
I want to go where you go,
Why won't you let me?
do what you do,
Come on and get me.
and we'll just hug and we'll be happy.
And I'll be happy.
Wait, the lioness. That's the lion's mother. If she flew here on the dragon, that must mean... That means the dragon is on the other side of the river!
My father hurried on, but the dragon's landing site was farther away than he had judged. He finally came to the riverbank in the late afternoon and looked all around, but there was no dragon in sight.
Well, he must have gone back to the other side.
My father sat down under the palm tree and was trying to have a good idea when something big and hairy jumped out of the tree and landed with a loud crash at his feet.
Well?
What?
My father looked up and discovered he was talking to an enormous and very fierce gorilla.
Well, explain yourself! I'll give you till 10 to tell me your name, your age, and what's in that pack. 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, 4, 6, 10.
Wait, huh?
Too slow! I'll twist your arms away and twist that dragon's wing, and then we'll see if you can't hurry up a bit.
The gorilla was about to grab my father's arms when he suddenly began scratching his chest with both hands.
Fleas! Blast those fleas! They won't give you a moment's peace! And the worst of it is they can't even get a good look at them! Rosie, Rhoda, Rachel, Ruthie, Rudy, Roberta, come here and get rid of this flea on my chest! It's driving me crazy!
6 little monkeys tumbled out of the palm tree, dashed to the gorilla, and began combing the hair on his chest.
Well, it's still there!
You're looking.
We're looking.
But they're awfully hard to see, you know?
They're awfully hard to see. Awfully hard to see.
Hard to see.
You know,
You know?
Hard to see.
You know.
you know.
I know, but hurry! I've got work to do!
Gorilla, in my knapsack I have 6 magnifying glasses. They're very good for hunting fleas.
You do?
He does!
My father unpacked them and gave one to Rosie, one to Rhoda, one to Rachel, one to Ruthie, one to Rudy, and one Roberta.
Why? It's easy! Easy to see the fleas! Easy to see the fleas now. Fleas now?
Only there are hundreds of them.
Whoa! Hundreds of them!
The monkeys crowded around and completely surrounded the gorilla to get a look at the fleas through the magnifying glasses. The gorilla could not see my father, nor did he remember to twist his arms. My father walked back and forth along the bank, trying to think of some way to cross the river. He found a high flagpole with a rope going over to the other side. The rope went through a loop at the top of the flagpole and then down the pole and around a large crank. A sign in the crank said,
2.
Summon.
Dragon. Yank the crank.
and
Report.
Disorderly.
Conduct.
The gorilla.
my father remembered that the cat said,
The other end of the rope is tied around the dragon's neck.
Poor dragon.
My father knew that if he called to the dragon to come across the river, the gorilla would surely hear him. The river was very muddy, and all sorts of unfriendly things might live in it, when suddenly he heard a loud splash behind him.
It's me, Crocodile. The water's lovely, and I have such a craving for something sweet. Won't you come in for a swim?
Oh, no, thank you. I don't swim after dark. But I do have something sweet to offer you. Would you care for a lollipop? And maybe you have friends who would like a lollipop as well?
Lollipops? Why, that is a treat. How about it, boys?
Hurrah! Lollipops!
My father counted as many as 17 crocodiles with their heads just peeping out of the water.
Oh, that's fine. I have 2 dozen. You know, lollipops last longer if you keep them out of the water. Now, one of you can have this one. There you go.
Delicious, mighty delicious.
Now, if you don't mind, I'll just walk along your tails, or I'll walk along your backs and fasten the lollipops to your tail with a rubber band. You don't mind, do you?
Oh no, not in the least.
Could you get your tail out of the water just a slight bit?
Yes, of course.
My father ran along his back and fastened another lollipop with a rubber band.
Who's next?
I am.
A second crocodile swam up and began sucking on that lollipop.
Now, you gentlemen can save a lot of time that you just line up across the river, and I'll be allowed to give each of you a lollipop.
So the crocodiles lined up right across the river with their tails in the air, waiting for my father to fasten on the rest of the lollipops. The tail of the 17th crocodile just reached the other bank. When my father was crossing the back of the 15th crocodile with 2 more lollipops to go, the noise of the monkey suddenly stopped, and he could hear a much bigger noise getting louder every second. He could hear 7 furious tigers. And he could hear 1 raging rhinoceros. 2 seething lions. 1 ranching gorilla. And many screeching monkeys. All led by 2 extremely irate wild boars.
Snot!
And they were all yelling,
It's a trick!
It's a trick!
There is an invasion!
It must be after our dragon!
Kill it!
Kill it!
Kill it!
Kill it! Kill it!
as my father was fixing the 17th lollipop for the last crocodile, he heard the wild boar scream.
Look! Look, it came this way. Look, it's over there. It's over there now, see?
My father didn't have a moment to spare.
North!
By now, the dragon realized my father was coming to rescue him. He ran out of the bushes and jumped up and down, yelling, "They're coming over!"
They're coming over. Oh, please, hurry, hurry.
My father ran up to the dragon and took out his very sharp jackknife.
Hey, oh boy, steady, we'll make it.
Oh, hurry.
Be still.
If my father had turned around, he would have seen both boars.
Start!
All 7 tigers. The 2 lions. The rhinoceros. And the gorilla. Along with countless screeching monkeys. All coming across the crocodiles' backs.
Yay!
And there still was a lot more rope he had to cut through.
Oh, hurry, hurry.
Be still.
Please hurry.
I don't think we'll make it. We'll just fly across the river. I can finish tying the rope there.
If my father turned around, he would have seen something that surprised and delighted him. Partly because he had finished his lollipop, and partly because, as I told you before, crocodiles are very moody and not the least bit dependable and are always looking for something to eat. The first crocodile turned away from the shore bank and started swimming down the river. The second crocodile hadn't finished yet, so he followed right after the first one, still sucking his lollipop. All the rest of the crocodiles did the same thing, one right after the other, until they were all swimming away in a line with the animals still standing on their backs. The 2 wild boars. The 7 tigers. The rhinoceros. The 2 lions. And the gorilla. Along with countless monkeys. The animals were all riding down the middle of the river, standing on the train of crocodiles sucking pink lollipops, all yelling and screaming and getting their feet wet.
It's a trick! It's a trick!
Father finished cutting the rope, and the dragon tried a somersault.
Yippee! Woohoo! Yeah. Oh, I'm leaving this place. Would you like to come with me?
What are you with this?
You would have to ride on my back as I fly. Would that be all right with you?
Yes.
Yippee!
Where shall we go?
There's a land of dreams where the sunshine streams like a river all day long.
It's there I'll go with the one I know who can make my life a song.
We will find our place in an open space
Where our thoughts will all begin.
and we'll hide away from this place's gray.
Out where the blue begins.
Where the skies are blue and you know it.
And the birds go tweeting by.
Out where the hearts are true and they show it. Under an open sky.
We shall seek our sunny acre where the dreamers always win.
And we'll walk in the path of our making, out where the blue begins.
It's a land that waits at our mind's gate, and it's easy to be found.
For the one who seeks happiness in trees and the green grass all around. When the night is near,
Quiet sounds you'll hear, not the creature's cruel dins.
May the skies we fly bring us to our home, out where the blue begins.
Where the skies are blue and you know it.
And the birds go whirling by, out where the hearts are true and they show it.
Under an open sky,
We shall seek our sunny place, where dreamers always win.
And we'll live as we're meant in our
in
space.
space.
out where the blue begins.
Oh, what big eyes you have, oh, what sweet lips you have, oh, if I only had you. Oh, what nice ways you have, oh, what nice days we'd have, oh, if I only had you.